Hello. I had to go live like a minute early because, well, it's actually right on time because of what Howie Johnson wrote. Rants everywhere, not a drop rant to drink. I think Mitch should have a rant stout. I'm just saying. I just think. Hello, welcome to Monday, everyone. And you guys are just, I don't know. I think you're going to be disappointed. I didn't have a rant planned for you all. You really want a rant, and I didn't bake one in. I didn't bake one in. You feel free to give me something to rant about. Maybe that's something that will work into the channel. Um, toss me a bone. Give me something to go on, and I'll go off on it. Softball, just toss it up there, and I'll choke up on the bat, and I'll just bam. But I have no prepared rant. I definitely have one in you. So hello, I'm going to say hello to everyone. I know Mark, Hans, Pizza Giraffe, Tyler, Mike, Jason. You're all here. You're all here. You're all under this big crazy tent, this circus that we call the Jeff Word. Manos is here. So happy Monday. Phil is here. How many rants for a buck? I mean, right now you get all your rants for free. So I just did, like, I'm looking at my notes. I'm like, all right, well, the people want to rant. I actually have something in my notes that's nice about Cemetery Dance. I have a nice thing to say about Cemetery Dance. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, there's some like serious things that go on. I guess when I rant about the non-serious things, like issues that aren't really of importance, but just get you mad. Like you're missing out on your pre-orders, and people are taking too long, or things like that. Zach bowling, Zach spoiling 11/22/63 for me. Oh, fun fact! Did you see? You might not have, but um, there was an interview that Paul SUNTUP did with the Collectible Book Vault. It's a really cool site. It's started by Maurice Lutkins. I'm sorry, Maurice. And a few other guys, and they were doing the book values of, how about they were doing the book values. They're doing like secondary market values. So they were trying to be like the Overstreet of limited editions. So Paul SUNTUP and a few other publishers did interviews with them. And when Paul did an interview, he was talking about his favorite books, and among them was 11/22/63. So I thought that was funny. People pointed it out to me. And then Ray's here. Chismar is giving King baseball cards out with pre-order purchase. Not sure that's rant worthy. No, I don't. I mean, it's not really rant worthy. Chismar is like, he's the devil we know. So it's hard to get fired up about him anymore because he's sort of just gone there, right? He's already done it. He can't go really. I guess I shouldn't say that. He could go lower, but my nice thing about CD was that they updated their product update page, and it's actually getting functional. The funny thing is they updated it, they revamped it to give actual status to each project with dates. So something that was before, they used to say, we'll be done in a month with this stage of the project, and you didn't know when they posted it. So what does that month? I read this in November, it says a month. I read this in December, it says a month. So what does that mean if you don't anchor it to a real date? So they're making their efforts, but they're doing it and it looked good. And then I went to check back with that product page, and they're borrowing some infographic sort of treatment from the SUNTUP site. But I went back there and it reverted back to their old one because they were having, it was wonky. They had too many they had some issues, so they had to revert back to it. So progress in steps, but I didn't have anything mean to say about them. To hell with rants. Let's talk about that nutso itinerary drop from Centipede. Flips table. Be the rant you wish to see in the world. Yeah. Good evening. Hello, Patty. I do enjoy the the 4,600 Blatty posts. I thought it was kind of cool. I think a lot of people were pissed off about it. I didn't read half of them. I didn't read really any of them. He didn't want to appear on this channel. He didn't want to do an interview. And then he goes on to just dominate the fans of SUNTUP Facebook page. Like you could have had an hour and a half here talking about Legion, about your dad, about Exorcist. You had all that opportunity, and you're like, no, I don't want to be on camera. And then you just like steal, like you're like the Kanye West of the SUNTUP page. You're like, I'm gonna let you finish, but first, let me tell you what it was like to be William Peter Blatty's son and this book. And it was, but that said, it was all very interesting. I think that's a great opportunity to get a behind the scenes look at something you never would have gotten otherwise. I mean, he has some real good insights. It's just that he posted them every 5 seconds. He has enough content on the Fans of SUNTUP page to start a blog or his own website. He could fill it. Like he did like every day, he did like 6 posts. And people were encouraging him. Either they wanted him to troll harder or they were, I don't know, but it was cool. It was, I didn't mind it. Who likes pineapple on pizza? No, 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 Pizza Giraffe. And shout out to Pizza Giraffe. I enjoy reading those interviews. Yeah, they're good. They're good. Pizza Giraffe posted a video. He unboxed his prize, and it was a great video. I loved it. I commented on it, but the comments were turned off mysteriously. But that's okay. I just want Pizza Giraffe to know I love the video. I want to say it and do a shout out right here live, so everybody knows it was a great unboxing. I loved it. Great rendition of what's the unboxing, would it be? I don't know. Shut up and see. Did a great rendition of it. Great cover. You know, a lot of times the cover is even better than the original. A lot of Metallica songs are covers, the ones that I like the most. Anyway, so shout out to you, Pizza Giraffe. So Centipede, you want to talk about Centipede? John Doe's here. Has the other winner ever come up? Nope. I did not hear from the other winner. So I will talk to you, Joshua, about what to do. Maybe another drawing or something. But I gotta say, it really got me mad. It gets me mad when I do these things, and then the person just doesn't show up and doesn't even like. They didn't like. What were they expecting me to do? Get some FBI cyber investigators to track down this person's IP address and wrestle their address from them. I called them out. I did it live. I showed the second place winner, and they just never materialized. So and I gave them a deadline. They never showed up. They lose the prize. So I'll figure out what I'm going to do. Sorry, John, that you're not having a good day. Sorry to hear that. I don't like, there's nothing I could do for it, but other than wish you the better half of your day or the rest of your day. I don't know. I don't expect all those high price books to make it out before the year end, but it's fun to think about. So I just checked the CD production page. It still sucks. I have a few books and it still says the exact same thing it did 2 or 3 years ago. Yes, that's because Steve Mandel's here. Hello, Cat House is here. That's because they reverted back, but they did update it. I promise you. And they attached real dates to each project, and they gave a status. So but they had issues, so they had to revert back. I'm hoping they get it back to where it was. Most recently before they had to change it, because it was good. It was good. It still doesn't, you want them to get the books out, right? You definitely want that instead of excuses. And the product update page was just sort of their excuse sheet. Like, come on, woohoo, you said my name. Yes, I said your name. First time's free, Steve Mandel. Now the second time, Little money's got, you just I'm a, you know, former teamster. I know about bribes and pay to play and all that stuff. Seriously. Good to see you here. So yes, the Centipede Press newsletter was crazy. The forthcoming titles we all knew about. We Always Lived in the Castle, The Club Dumbass. I'm kidding. This is The Club Dumas. Shadow of the Torturer by Gene Wolfe. Best of Weird Tales 1920s. Ghost Story and Shadowland. I don't think I knew about Shadowland. I knew about Ghost Story. And I'm looking at the Ghost Story art. Is that Chadbourne? Is that Glenn Chadbourne? The back cover of the dust jacket looks a little bit like Glenn Chadbourne. And then Neuromancer. And I forgot that Jared is doing the whole Sprawl trilogy. Oh, we're checking into the Magic Duff Bucket. Magic Duff Bucket. You have been only on the lives now, so we gotta call them out anyway. Journey into Night. Journey into the Night should be Journey into the Mouth. I don't know. That's why I'm not naming his beers for him. But Neuromancer, and then really, okay. All right. Well, I think that's just going to stay that way. You can't see. It foamed all over. It foamed all over my desk. I don't have any tissues or anything. Oh, you know what? I got this. It's just, yeah. Oh man, this is quality content right here. Right here is quality content as I wipe beer off my crotch. I didn't even get it in the glass yet, Hans. What would you rank that? Like, how would you rank that? It gets all over my desk. It didn't even get in the glass yet. And look at that. Look at that. I love that moment where you're like, is it going to break that tensile threshold and spill over? That was rough. I'm glad we all lived through that. Port right. Lots of crazy cheap unsigned books on the CP Scratch and Dent page too. Great opportunity. It's a buyer's market right now for a lot of books. If you're just starting out collecting, you are in the heyday. You can go out and gobble up so many great titles right now. I was gonna flag my brother-in-law. He's not really my brother-in-law. What is the guy who's married to your wife's sister? Is he your brother-in-law? Can you say that? I always thought it was like had to be anyway. Broham is a Clive Barker fanatic, and somebody was selling. I don't know about fanatic. I felt I was overstating myself, so I'm correcting myself. He loves Clive Barker, and somebody was selling a Magica, the numbered edition with the Clive Barker signature, for basically half off. Half. It's a buyer's market, and I think that Centipede Press has a lot of titles lingering when they wouldn't have ordinarily, because Centipede Press is amazing. So premature formulation. Love your bookcase video. When are you starting your door-to-door bookcase installation business? Need to get on that waiting list. I will do it. I will come over. Shadowland is Straub's Mystery Walk. What? Oh, Mystery Walk. Duh. That's Robert McCammon. For a minute, I was thinking, and hello, Stephen Dwayne Ellison Jr. Glad to see you here. For a minute, I thought you were saying, I just had it in my head that Mystery Walk was a Straub book, but I think I was mixing up Mr. X and Coco. I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, Mystery Walk is McCammon. So I didn't read Mystery Walk, and I don't think I read Shadowland. I don't think I read Julia. I know I did read Ghost Story. It's a brilliant book. I think Straub aspired to literature and he couldn't quite get there. That was my impression. Is the butt crack next? No, butt crack is not going to happen. I would love to install Billy bookcases if you live within an hour drive, I will do it for only $5,000. You got to get all the, I mean, there's an art to it. It's like Legos for adults, IKEA. But yeah, that video of my bookcase installation, my hands are mangled. Producer Jill and I were watching it and we were like, do you really want to post? Like, look at your hand. It's got gouges in it. My fingernails are filthy. I'm like, my standards are so low as it is. If I start doing QA to that level, might as well just wrap up the channel. Might as well just Tucker Carlson, Don Lemon it out of here. Didn't mean to get political there. I ordered a book and paid last year $225. A month later, they tell me they oversold and refunded the money. 2 weeks ago, I get an email for the Collectors Club offering me the chance to buy it. Wow, that's a rant. Wow, the other sacrificial option, that's what they refer to you as when you're not around. Me? I don't know. I was talking with Daryl Schweitzer, editor for Weird Tales book. He's super excited for those. There will be 3 volumes. That is really cool. That is really cool. Yeah, so anyway, I think that, so Mark, that was for that was seriously for Cemetery Dance. So what book was it? Great stuff. Great stuff. Yeah. So I think I'm excited mostly for Centipede's Neuromancer. I love that book. I only read it once. I have the SUNTUP edition, but I loved it. I think that'd be cool, and maybe I'd be interested in the Sprawl trilogy. I don't know, and I don't know if William Gibson is going to sign it. Initially, Jared was feeling people out to see if there'd be interest in it if it wasn't signed. And because he was saying that there might be some issue with getting a signature. And so I don't know if that changed since he initially talked about it. So yeah, I mean, I'd be curious to see if he did the whole thing. I'm all in for Weird Tales. Hey, Jeff, glad to see you again this Monday. Hey, Russell, good to see you. Glad you're here. I am really glad you're here. You and Rolled Oats being all cozy back in frigid Arctic Chicagoland. Good to see you. So I don't know what you're talking about, Stephen Wayne Allison Jr., the other sacrificial option. It's not, I can't connect the dots there. Pre-order the paperback bundle from Levidian. Yes, that was cool. The Border, The Listener, and King of Shadows paperbacks. It's a bundle from Levidian. I didn't go for any of them. I don't have The Border, but I have The Listener. I have King of Shadows in trade and special edition, so I'm covered. You know, I'm cozy with that. Hey, Jeff, I got to go record a podcast with some folks, but I want to thank you for posting your Cannibal Creator unboxing. Thank you for this. Yes. Well, go record your podcast with the kids. I love the book. I can't wait to read those other stories, Chad. And I think I'm in for some good reading. Flash I just bought Cannibal Creator. Now, Phil, did you get the Thunderstorm letter? Is that the one? Because Phil is of a certain class where he's got the Roman numeral exorcist. So he's and Flash is showing some amazing books on Instagram if you're of a mind and you want to see great books photographed really well. Go check out Corso999 on Instagram. Great stuff there. It's like my jealous page. If I want to go be jealous, I'll just go there because he has a lot of books I have, but he photographs them so well. I'm like, wow. What kind of camera do you have, Phil? Trade edition. It's a worthy book. It's a lot of fun. I think you'll enjoy it. Cannibal Creator is awesome. Yes, Mike, it is. I completely agree. I don't know if Jared ever said if he got Gibson to sign. I'm hoping so, but if not, I may rip out my sig sheet from the Easton Press edition. Yeah, just tear it out. I think Richard Chismar. Oh, here you go. Here's the little rant, mini rant. Richard Chismar made it all fair game to just rip out his signature from a different book, as long as it's the author's other book. You just rip it out. For example, you just rip it out of it and slap it in Carrie, and you call it a Roman numeral. A Roman numeral. You call it a Roman numeral. It's science. It's totally cool. You could do it. If Chismar can do it, you could do it. So you could just take your Neuromancer or any William Gibson signature, rip it out of any book, and just get some Elmer's glue and just drop it right in there in the Centipede Press edition. Lettered Stephen King Revisited. Oh, well, I missed something, but wait. Wait. What? You didn't? No, you didn't. You didn't want to buy Stephen King Revisited, did you, Mark? Okay, because it's how your sister-in-law and family refer to you. Okay, yes, the other sacrament. Yes, spare parts. Future chili, because we're in a clan of cannibals. My family. I'm future chili. You did not want to buy Stephen King Revisited, Mark. You didn't. If that's what it was, please tell me. Because Stephen King Revisited is Richard Chismar's writings about his feelings of Stephen King books that he reread. Is it signed at least by King? I don't think I've ever been less excited. I did. It was cheap lettered. Now I'm glad I'm not getting it. Okay, good. I think that's the universe saving you, Mark. I think. Because I just don't I don't I don't know. I saw that. I'm like, so he bundled all his blog posts and he's binding them into a book and he's getting it and he's publishing it for money. And I mean, who knows? Hey, you know what? Maybe those posts are magic. Maybe it's like, wow, this gives me a greater, deeper appreciation for these Stephen King books. Richard Chismar is saying things in these posts that have never been said in all the long storied history of Stephen King's career. And he's saying them in ways I understand and appreciate. And you can't find thinking like this out of any other brain. That's possible. It's not probable. I don't hold out a whole lot of hope that it was that good. Just an iPhone. Thanks, Phil. Thank you for making me feel even worse. You're doing that insanely awesome photography with an iPhone, probably the same thing I have right here that I shoot my videos on and I take my pictures with. But you do like that extra, what is it? Do the salt, we pour the salt out. You do that extra special touch. It has to be lighting or something because your photos are really good. Really, really good. The Frankenstein books from Paul Michael Caine and Chismar. Yeah, those were the Carrie. So if you could do that, if he could do that with King's signature for what was he selling those $4,000? Just rip it out of any old book. The new deluxe signed edition of Carrie is not a particularly attractive production, especially at what I think was 250 pounds. So you're talking, I didn't even see it, Ron. Did you see it? I put the link in the description. I didn't see, somebody was talking about there's a special edition of Carrie coming out in the UK by, get this, a company called Special Editions. And I didn't see it. They talked about what it would be there, and I went to the link, but they won't ship to the US. So you gotta have a friend in England, and I haven't had a friend in England Well, I do. I'm kidding. I was going to make an American joke like some 1776, but um, Paul Fry's there. Darren, like his father before him, is there, and several wonderful human beings are there. Russell Coombs is there. Haven't heard much from Russell Coombs lately. Um, I find it laughable. Oh, here we go. I find it laughable that Chiz thinks he can produce a book on a reasonable timetable. I've seen a lot of people complaining about Facing the Crowd, The Longest December. That it's way behind. The trade edition's way behind because they were going with Bezos and Amazon for the distribution of the trade edition, and they just couldn't get it done. On that note, I got my Gothic, from VJ Books, the signed edition of Gothic. So if you ordered from VJ Books for that sweet, sweet signature, here it is, and I got it's gold. I don't know if you could pick up the color. It's gold, and so I got it today. The signed one. I have the regular unsigned hardcover, and so yes, they can't get it done on time, but they do get it done in time. That should be that should be seriously. That should be their motto, their tagline. We might not get it done on time, but we'll get it done in time. Maybe not. Sooner or later, that's not going to be true because at some point we're getting to the last car on the train track, and it's just gotta implode at some point. It can't. They can't keep cannibalizing the same customer base and hope in the hopes that these people are not going to scream so loud that other customers are turned off. There's I don't know, but I wasn't going to rant. But I think the best bet for Cemetery Dance is if Richard Chismar sells to somebody who's got that fire in their belly and a desire to make books and a willingness to uh, work hard at it. It's hideous. In no way it looks collectible. Oh, there are videos of it. Oh, okay. I didn't see it. I hadn't heard the price, but that looks bad. I didn't think it was signed. No, it's not signed. I heard sprayed edges. It's Carrie. Like Carrie's the hardest Stephen King book to sell. It's a good book. It's if you read Haunting of Hill House and then read Carrie, it sort of feels like you just read Desperation and the Regulators. It feels like a remix. Carrie is the name of Eleanor's sister in Haunting of Hill House. And I feel like King took that family, and I'm sure I'm not saying anything new. I'm sure somebody else has said this somewhere, but took that family dynamic from Haunting of Hill House for Eleanor's family and explored that and did a whole what if there was some psychokinesis or some supernatural element? Because I think both books had that rain of stones on the house, and that's how Eleanor gets on the radar of that scientist studying the paranormal. They had a rain of rocks on the house, and then so anyway, I might be getting ahead of something. If you're not familiar with Haunting of Hill House, it's brilliant, and I like it. I'd like to recommend the pairing of those two books, Haunting of Hill House and then Carrie. I never realized. So the funny thing is, you read these authors, you're reading literary heritage, right? You're reading someone's descendant, literary descendant, because we are all the products of all the things we consume. So, for example, if I go on to write something, you may see notes of maybe poorly translated notes of other great authors, but you could recognize the inspiration, and in some cases, you can recognize like the straight up lift of an idea. And that's not saying plagiarism. Those are two different things. If you did a study on a character and it inspired you to do a full blown book, it becomes its own thing. Nothing is in isolation. We all consume and digest these ideas. And to greater or lesser effect, there are some people who write, like CJ Tudor, who write straight up fan fiction. It should be relegated to a nice little website that she does on her hobby when she's home from her office job or something. But it's not, it doesn't stand on its own, but it is a nice echo if you like somebody's work and somebody does a fair imitation of it, but at a lesser degree. What King did with Carrie was he took that and he blew it up into its own little world. And I think that's great. It's valid. Not, not ran against King, but I just think that that's the hardest King book to sell. It's just the dog. Um, Even the Doubleday years, I bought that well after it was released, and I was still able to get it a gift edition. I even got it for half off. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I had a half off coupon and nothing else on their site I wanted to buy. And so I'm like, oh, look, this Doubleday year book. And it's a very nice book. It's very well done. It's probably better done than Night Shift. The paper quality is far superior. So anyway, I didn't spend much time there. Ugly book, and I live in the USA, so I'm not in the game for it. Yeah, no, we're not here. It won't ship to us. I think they're afraid of us throwing it into the harbor. I don't know. That's another American Revolution joke. Got Saturday. Right now, I'm reading my CD signed paperback I bought from Philip. Nice. It's a great read. It's a great read. And the CD paperbacks, I greatly recommend the CD paperbacks over the hardcovers. And I'm a hardcover boy, as Mitch would say, BOI. I love hardcovers, but in this case, if you don't have Gothic and you want a nice copy, get the paperback. And I got to say, the cover treatment, now it's not on a dust jacket. The cover treatment lends itself to paperback because it imitates a well-worn paperback, and that deceit translates into a dust jacket because that's paper, but just printed on the boards, it just, I don't know, it doesn't do the same thing, but it's very cool. It's very cool art design from Keelan Patrick Burke on this book. So I guess it's fair game to get him to sign it too. No, not really. But anyway, so if you're on the market and you didn't buy it and you're here on my Monday Night Live, which would be surprising because I've been talking about the book, and if you didn't want it, then me telling you about it's not going to change that. And if you didn't know about it, then anyway, I would get the paperback over the hardcover. The Jeff word. Oh, wait, hold. Okay. Congratulations, Mark. Nothing like some fricassee to darken a day. Love what you did there. I see what you did there. The new Carrie limited edition and that fancy shining boxed set only confirm what I already considered, that Stephen King does not care how many limited editions are produced of the Doubledays. I guess not. So the Jefford is we're going to buy Cemetery Dance. I agree with Jared that We Have Always Lived in the Castle is actually better than Hill House. Huh. The premise sounds creepier. Well, I didn't get Haunting of Hill House from Centipede Press, so I don't feel compelled to try to get that book. And with my buying freeze in somewhat full effect, I think I'm just gonna, because Gone South was sold out, and then it came up on Cemetery Dance's site, and I passed on it there, even though I had store credit. And today, again, right before going live, I checked CD. I'm like, is it still available? Because Beef Daddy was tempted, but it was gone. So the temptation's gone. It's out of my hands now. There's nothing I could do about Gone South. But if I find it on the secondary for cheap, perhaps I'll get it. I hope Jared does a smaller, cheaper version of We Have Always Lived in the Castle down the road like he did with Hill House. I think he probably would if but did Hill House sell all that well, the cheaper one? I think it's still available. So maybe he won't. Stephen King has written twin books more than once. Regulars, Desperation, Shining, Doctor Sleep, and Gerald's Game and Dolores Claiborne were to be an Eclipse duo. Yeah. I hear what you're saying. Then you could say Talisman and Black House. Um, so yeah, but those are twin books in some different ways. Desperation and Regulators is like it felt like one book. Well, and you corrected me last time, Hans. One book was written first, and then those characters were because one was written as a screenplay, and then those characters were blended up and put in a book as in different roles, and that kind of gives you vertigo when you read it, especially if you read them back to back like I did, because it's like I just got to know this character in this book by this name. Now they live all on the same street over here, and it just sort of blows your mind. It's a cool effect. It's a fun experiment. Any Dennis Lehane fans out there? His new book, Small Mercies, comes out tomorrow. Nice. I believe that the intention, I think I will be a few years if it happens. Oh, okay. So for the We Have Always Lived in the Castle will be a smaller book. The small edition of Hill House is a hell of a bargain. Such a beautiful production at that price. Yeah, I passed on it, but why buy CD? Just start your own press. Yeah. I don't know, man. Early reviews say it's Lehane's best since Mystic River. Lebanese. Your autocorrect changed Lehane's to Lebanese. I'm craving Lebanese. I've never eaten Lebanese food, I don't think. I probably did. I eat food. Sooner or later, the country's got to be consumed somehow by me. I've never read Lehane, but I like several of the movies made from his stuff. Flash, I might give it a shot if I find it at a used bookstore. It's part of the trilogy. Uh-huh. I'm hoping SUNTUP does Shutter Island or Mystic River. Shutter Island would be a good book for them. I wanted to see the movie. I've never read any of his stuff. I usually shy away from thrillers, but Sarah Pinborough got me kind of intrigued, and so did Blake Crouch. Blake Crouch and Sarah Pinborough. I will read and I will look forward to their books, even though that's usually not my thing. You know, thrillers are fun because you read them and they don't affect you at all. Like, I don't want to say that because, well, now I'm painting myself into a corner here because it sounds like I'm bashing authors, but I'm not. They're fun, and I think they're fast page turners. But Sarah Pinborough's go deeper than Blake Crouch's stuff. Blake Crouch is very much, and he said this in our interview, characters are secondary to plot. So he comes up with the plot. He comes up with the deceit of the story, the device, literally, and then he builds characters around it, and they're very archetypal, right? There's always this capable man who just is dogged in his pursuit of his goal, and then there's the woman that's a prize. I mean, I read the Pines trilogy and Dark Matter, so I haven't read Recursion or any other book, but these are very archetypal characters. And then there's a super villain who's super smart and diabolical, formidable. You want your hero protagonist to go at somebody who is worthy, but the woman's always the prize. It's very much throwback. Sarah Pinborough's are a little more. Her characters are better fleshed out, and her thrillers are a little weirder, and I mean that in the best way. So, anyway, I do think twice about thrillers now. Okay, King has rewritten other famous works before. As you claim, Carrie was a Hill House remix. His story Battleground is a rewrite on Matheson's Prey. Yeah, yeah. No, no, yeah, and I'm not saying he's like rewritten, but you see the inspiration. Same. What other books? There were some other books I read, and I'm like, oh, so I see where King got it. You go to that again, that literary ancestor, the predecessor, the one who influenced everything downstream, and you're like, okay, I see. You read the book Stephen King read, doesn't mean you're going to write the Stephen King books, but but you're gonna understand them better. You're gonna feel a deeper connection to them. So I think that's a cool thing. Um, but yeah, no, I think there's a lot. There's Matheson, and he did write. Didn't he write Duel with his son in honor of Matheson's work? I mean, there is a acknowledgement of, yeah, in Salem's Lot, a big nod to I Am Legend. I think that might be the one I was fishing for when I read I Am Legend. I don't know. I don't know. Jeff, I finally read Behind Her Eyes a couple months ago. You and thousands of positive reviews were right. It was very entertaining. Oh, that's great. That's great. I'm glad. I was a little scared, Ron, because you and I, Full Throttle is a sequel to Duel. Okay. You and I, man, we see eye to eye on the road, but not on a lot else. And I was nervous, but I'm glad you found it very entertaining, because that's exactly the word. It's great, and it's a mind screws with your brain. It really does. That ending, man. You go ahead. You know what? I'm not spoiling anything, because there's no way you know what that ending's going to be like. No way. Now, Ron, you should read Insomnia for sure. Go check that one out. There's a nod. You'll like something in there, because it's a total nod. Read it now. I think the sooner you read it after reading Behind Her Eyes is a cool little thing. And they're quick reads. And then read They Say a Girl Died Here Once. Actually, those are the only three Sarah Pimboros I've read. I'm dying to read Feeding Ground and Breeding Ground. Her paperback horror books. But my TBR is formidable. Right now, what I'm reading, non-horror, Confederacy of Dunces. So I will finally be able to understand all those John Kennedy Toole references in popular culture. I don't know if there are, but I will say, brilliant book. I understand literature. Literature is a. I was just talking to producer Jill earlier about what defines literature, and my understanding of it is it's a very character driven study of the human condition, and it's got to make a big point. It's got to have a point. It's got to go beyond just what happened, and really examine something maybe that's not been looked at before, or maybe in a new way that it excites some part of your brain that a regular piece of fiction wouldn't. So this is definitely literature, but it's one I connect with. I tried reading the corrections when Oprah told me I should, way back years ago. And I read it and I hated it. And it was the same thing. It was a very character driven book where, for example, in Confederacy of Dunces, it's not so much what happens, but how the characters interact with each other in every situation. And it's really a brilliant book. I can't wait to finish it and do a review and talk about it here. But the corrections just didn't elevate for me to that level. And I hated it. And I read maybe 25 pages. I'm like, I'm never. And then I did read David Eggers' A Heartbreaking Work of Staggering Genius. That's hilarious. I didn't read the whole thing though. I should have. I was really digging it. And I got out from the library and I went through one of my slumps where I wasn't bringing it on the train every day. And I just kind of went cold. And you know how sometimes you don't look forward to opening a book and you just get maybe lost in an app or something during your downtime. And for me, that was the commute to work. It was a half hour each way. So some days I just didn't bring the book. I'm like, I don't feel like reading. I'm very tired. I just woke up, or I'm very tired. I just got off of work. And so you don't run back to those books. And it's a shame because I was enjoying it. And then I just had to bring it back to the library. And I didn't even go back to it to try to get it out. But I did like that. So anyway, Confederacy of Dunces is awesome. I'm enjoying reading the Bill Hodges trilogy. Hey, Jimmy Brown, good to see you. Got to finish them before Holly releases. Okay, so what? So you're reading the Bill Hodges trilogy. I think Mr. Mercedes was the best. Finders Keepers was the worst. And then End of Watch was really freaky. And it wasn't as good as the first one, but at least I almost didn't buy it. For a while, my collection just didn't have End of Watch because I'm like, I'm not reading this book. Finders Keepers, I felt like it just tanked. Like I really liked Mr. Mercedes. There were things about it, Holly among them, that I hated, but I tolerated, and I think I got a good story out of it. I liked it. Then I read Finders Keepers. I'm like, oh, this feels too much like a 80s sitcom. It feels like, look at this kooky detective agency. And it was as annoying as some people find me. So I understand. And by the way, John Robbins, do you got any paste? Got any paste, John Robbins? Inside joke. So yeah, that was that was bad. And then when I did finally read End of Watch, I'm like, okay, this is better, much better than Finders Keepers, but cemented my dislike of Holly Gibney. Don't give me that Gibney. Did not like her one iota. Okay, I'll add Insomnia to my list. I've read They Say a Girl Died Here and the 2 Spider Apocalypse books you mentioned. Oh, did you? Okay. Well, Insomnia is going to be very familiar to you then. I've been wanting to read A Confederacy of Dunces as well as The Idiot. I've been wanting to read Confederacy of Dunces and Infinite Jest. So I'm going to read that. Not right away. You all have a great week. Got to go. Okay. Take it easy, Phil. You are wrong again. Finders Keepers was the best one. All right. Opinions, man. You're not wrong. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong, even though that opinion is worse than a lukewarm room temperature old style. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe an old style that was at the kegger and it was left out in a red Solo cup all night. And the next morning, person's so drunk, they're like, hair of the dog, and then they down it. Barely got through those books. I haven't looked at King the same since. King hurt you, Mike. Did King hurt you? Yeah. I know. I got to say, you read those and then you go back and read 1122 and you're like, I see where these things connect. And I see how this disease progressed to the point that we now have Holly Gibney running around the world. I understand now. Read The Outsider, but DNF'd. Holly's in there too. I heard the first 3/4 of that book are excellent. I liked all 3 Hodges books. Finders Keepers the most. How? I get. I'll have to look at it again. Who is the villain in Finders Keepers? Darn it. But yeah, I forgot. So because it wasn't Brady. Brady takes a break. right? And Finders Keepers. Brady got through those books. Oh yeah, okay, not Brady. Mr. Mercedes is my best so far, to be fair. So I still need to finish The Outsider and If It Bleeds. And Holly is still 1,000% better than Gwendy. No two ways about it. If I had to pick Gwendy or Holly in a death match, I'm hoping that Holly wins that death match. And the TV version of Finders Keepers was balls insane. So good. Okay. Books by King, I read but could have liked without reading. Could have lived without reading. Lizzie's Story and Elevation. The villain in Finders Keepers was a wannabe writer who killed the famous author and stole the journals that the boy finds. Yes, I remember that. Yeah, okay. So I did think that was very cool. Felt like a Cormac McCarthy character in the beginning, and he steals the. Yeah, I remember that. Okay, so I think that plot. I love the beginning of that book, and then it just, yeah, the reclusive writer, and they go out and they score the books because it's going to be a big windfall. Yeah, okay, I remember that. Jeff, I'll make you a deal. If you actually read Infinite Jest, I will eat a copy of Infinite Jest. Why do you think I won't read it? I'm reading Confederacy of Dunces after all this time. Infinite Jest is huge. I mean, I'm going to show it. Yeah, I had to cover up. I mean, I've read big books. Infinite Jest. I got it at the thrift store. Some kid probably got it for school because there's a sticky note in there. They probably just made it that far and were like, I'm not even going to go. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to read Gravity's Rainbow or anything, but Infinite Jest at least sounds intriguing. But I hope you like it. What are you going to have it with? Can I recommend the sauce you get to use? I'm reading The Drawing of the Three. I'm finally reading Dark Tower series. I'm on the fence trying to decide if I like it. Well, if you don't like Drawing of the Three, okay, so you made it through The Gunslinger, which is the slowest of the series. Did you read the revised expanded one? Because that's a little better. Then Drawing of the Three gets really great. He gets his quartet going. And then there's The Wastelands. And I think The Wastelands is awesome. But there's something about Drawing of the Three before the quartet is formed. Just something magical about that book. The potential of the whole universe is in that book. And then The Wastelands gets good, really good. I think then Wizard and Glass. I think that might be my favorite one. And then Wolves of the Kala, Song of Susanna, and Dark Tower puts a bow on it. It's very tear jerky because it's the last book in the series. Oh, and I forgot Wind Through the Keyhole. You got to read that between 4 and 5. So you got to read that between before you go to Wolves of the Kala. So if you don't like Drawing of the Three, I don't think there's a lot of hope. I mean, if you don't like it, I don't think you're going to like a whole lot of what follows. Infinite Jest is also postmodern lit. Yep, because I've read it and lived to regret it. Oh, okay. So why didn't you just say that? Like, you could talk me out of the book, but the same person who recommended, or one of the people who recommended Confederacy of Dunces to me, also recommended Infinite Jest and described the book to me, and it sounded awesome. So maybe I won't. Morris Bellamy is the villain. Yeah. Will laser print the entire manuscript onto tortillas and eat Infinite Jest tacos for weeks. The Drawing of the Three is the best book in the DT series. I love the DT books. Drawing of the Three is better than The Wastelands. I mean, I might have to agree with you. I think I might. I don't know. I mean, I think I actually I will have to fact check myself. I think I put Drawing to the 3 as the top in my top 10 King reads. I had the toughest time with Wizard and Glass, but that might be because it's a giant flashback. I love flashbacks though, so sounds like I screwed up when I decided to give the DT series the heave ho after books 1 and 2. No, I guess you didn't screw up because if you didn't like it after books 1 and 2, then you probably were not going to like it. Why persist in something that you're supposed to enjoy and you're not going to? No, no, I think you did the right thing. I'm going to keep going with it. I don't like the characters very much in Drawing of the 3 though. Okay, so they are rough. So Eddie, Susanna, they're rough at first. Their stories are riddled with um, traumas, and they're dealing with those traumas as well. I don't want to spoil anything. I don't know how far you are. I don't know if you've met them yet, but now I feel like Zach spoiling things. I'm not really. I mean, I'm just saying, like, there are two characters. One's named Eddie and one's named Susanna. And Susanna, I say Susanna. I don't know. It's like Hosanna, and that's Catholic. Anyway, anyway, um, that they are rough around the edges, and that's all part of their character journey, right? That's their we grow to know them, we grow to know them. The only thing worse than modern lit is postmodern lit. Okay, fight me. I would rather eat a copy and hear about your struggles. Well, I'm also not, I have House of Leaves here, and I'm not reading that. I don't want to read something that's going to be like a lot of work. Just don't. I don't want to work. Um, I've not read any of the Dark Tower books yet. Not much of a fantasy reader, but I did enjoy Talisman, so I will and try reading it. Talisman, uh, I was going to say, is more fantasy than Dark Tower, but I don't know if that's true. I don't know. What do you guys think? I thought I guess it's the same sort of level of fantasy. Talisman's awesome. I love the Talisman. And I think Dark Tower is the same vein of fantasy, but Dark Tower also has like spaghetti westerns in there. It's also, so you got gunslinger stuff. You got Camelot, King Arthur sort of vibes. There's a lot of genres sort of blended together that make up the Dark Tower. And the more I'm thinking about it, yeah, it's probably more fantasy than Talisman. I don't know. I'd put them on the same level, but they're excellent. I love them both. May I recommend a book for Jeff Word to enjoy? If you like Cormac McCarthy but prefer more accessible writing style and extremely dark imagery, try The Treasure of the Sierra Madre by B. Traven. Okay. You may recommend a book. I'll allow it. I've not read any of the Dark Tower. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, rereading. I think it was pretty brave of King to create a character that's intrinsically linked to guns, since every time he writes anything about a firearm, he gets it wrong. Pay an intern to research, please. Yes. But he could say, well, these are the guns in Roland's world, and it's a total fair thing. The guns are a little different. Physics are different there. I don't know. But yes, the Dragon should be everyone's first king. Good. Really, you think so? Do you think that? I think it's maybe an age. I haven't read it in a long time. I read it when it was brand new. What year did it come out? to look it up. I'm going to look it up right the hell now. The Eyes of the Dragon, 1984. Oh, I don't think I got it in 84. Viking in 87. That was the mass. Okay, 87. So 1987. I was 15 when I read it. Flashbacks. Haven't had one yet, but it's possible. Wait. There are other guns. There are other guns than these. Where are Mitch and Philip? Philip doesn't really show up too much anymore. The guy is busy. Philip Fracassi news. Oh, he had an interview with Kyle Davis. I recommend everybody go check it out. Kyle Davis is the name of the channel on YouTube. And I think this is a good, raw, honest interview with Philip Fracassi. He talks a lot about what got him into writing and some really great moments in that interview. So I recommend everybody go check that out. Also, go support Philip's Kickstarter. He still needs to travel around because he's talking about doing upgrades to books on there and things like that that cost more money. Like, let's toss him a few coins. Yes, and he's so busy because he just finished the first draft of his new book, which isn't going to be out for some time, called Serafina. Damn. I cannot wait for this book. He just finished the first draft. You know, I don't know. I'm sure a lot of you know that when an author writes, that's a lot of the bulk is done, but it's the rewrites and the edits that really shape the book. And it's a lot of work still. So he's got a long road ahead of him to finish this project and then before it gets published. But yeah, so he's not going to show up. Mitch, I haven't bought any beer off of him for a while. So maybe he's not going to be here because he's like, screw that guy. I'm kidding. Maybe it's his bedtime. Baby Mitch. Maybe he was cranky today. I don't know. It's like when someone criticizes Game of Thrones for not being historically accurate. Yeah, that didn't have the dragons weren't that big. I read them all the year they came out. Yep. I found the Talisman to just be a shorter version of the Dark Tower. A lot of the same themes. Yeah. I wondered where Peter Straub was in that book because it did feel like mostly king or all king, you know. So I just wondered, and I'm going to reread it. I'm going to reread that and then Black House right after because Black House I didn't really connect with all that much, but I want to try it again. I like the original title though, but I'm sure I'll love it. Yeah, I think it's cool, but I I have no problem with the title change. It used to be Brothers, but authors got to use a working title. They got to have some way, some handle to talk about the project, and then when it comes down to it, a lot of times titles change. But just like one of his books that I read, a science fiction book, that title's probably going to change, and if it gets published or whatever, I don't know what the situation is. Brilliant book, man. They could change the title, just don't change anything else about that book. Book was amazing. Phil Fracassi's the real deal. So I don't blame. You know what? If he doesn't show up, he's not here too much anymore. That's okay. I understand, man. There are other YouTube channels than these. And when you're working yourself to the nub like that guy, I'd hate to think that he would show up here just out of, I don't know. He's got to, Philip's got to take care of Philip for now because he's going to be hitting the road. And I encourage everybody to, if you have a stop. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to share a post, just clicking in old Duder's head, of the stops that Philip Fracassi is going to be doing on his book tour this summer to promote Boys in the Valley. I meant to do that as a post, community post. so everybody can see it, and find a stop near you and go to that. Seriously, because it's hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on. All right. Because you go out and see him. I'm definitely going to be at the Nashville stop. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to try to make an event out of my end of things. Um, have a little fun there. I got to reach out and talk to the events person. So, but yeah, it would be great. I'd love to see as many of you as possible in Nashville, but it's about Philip. So I'm there for Philip and myself. Only Straub I've read other than Talisman with Shadowlands, which was fun. I've heard Ghost Story is great. Ghost Story is great. And you're going to get, if you want, from Centipede. No, I don't. That's just a blonde hair. I know it looks bad. I look bad. And the whole package is bad. Producer Joe's giving me notes. I assure you, that's just a gray hair on my lip. I'm old, man. I'm old. Hello, Jeff. I'm new here. Hey, Kevin. Love it. Third week. I'd love to know if you'd be willing to share your top 5 book publishers. Uh-huh. Yes, I have top 5, and I'm gonna do publisher spotlights for each of them. Just a short video to talk about why I hold this publisher in high regard, what my favorite books are from them, and what you can expect if you order from them. So my cat's losing her mind, or his mind. Oh, it's the boy. It's the boy. So the 5 are SUNTUP, Levidian, Earthling, Centipede Press, and SST. Those are the top 5. There are other presses out there that I recommend as well. Zagava, you can get Don't Let Them Get You Down. And The Egotist. Is that still available, everybody? The Egotist? I got to look it up. Zagava. Egotist. Yeah, all 3 editions. The lettered, the numbered, and the exclusive, which is like the Roman numeral. So, yeah. Zagava's good. Curious King, I wish they would get their stuff out. I wish them the best. So yeah, that's where is the book tour posted? I didn't post it yet, but I'm going to post it so you can see. Go to Nashville. Yes, Mike. So you're going to see. I'll post it on my YouTube channel. I could do a community post. I'll also see if I could just, I don't know. I'll try to share it with everybody if you're not on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, it's really easy. It's all over the place. Philip shares it all the time. It's on the Fracassi Freaks. Go to the Fracassi Freaks. Get in there. That's a great group to get in. Great people. So now I'm paranoid about my lip. So yeah, you can go check it out, but I'll try to post a community post the tour so you can see it if you're not on Facebook. Yes, welcome, Kevin. Yes, for those who enjoy reading historical nonfiction, David Grant's new one, The Wager, is now in Costco. Picked up a copy today for $17 and some change. Really enjoyed his books, Killers of the Flower Moon and Lost City of Z. Cool. Yeah. Costco is where I go to get trade editions. If it's a King book, that's where I go. You can go, they have a whole table. You pick out the one you want. You can get no dings, no problems. You're going to get it right away. You're not like if you order through CD, you get a third printing. Hey, Kyle, I talked about your interview. I'm glad you're here. We loved it. I recommended it. So Kyle Davis, there he is. If you click on his name, you're going to go to his channel. And there you can see it. I just ordered The Egotist over the weekend. Oh, awesome. It was his first book. He wrote it in 99. And People were hunting for it. It was hard to find. I love that the cover is done by his wife, and it'll match this style of Don't Let Them Get You Down, which I cannot recommend that book enough. It is a literary achievement, just an amazing book. Thunderstorm gets an honorable mention. Yes, they do. Thunderstorm, wow, I can't believe I didn't have this ready. Yeah, I don't know if you saw it. Chad Lutsky was here talking to us. But yeah, I got Cannibal Creator. Here it is. Great lettered edition, small for a Thunderstorm. And this is deep. I mean, I kind of mentioned it, but the bite on this embossing or debossing, excuse me, is really deep. Great book, great lettered edition. I wish I could tell you where to get it, but it's not going to happen because it's probably sold out. You can email Paul Goblersh over at Thunderstorm and see if he's got one. Just the regular Thunderstorm email. Say, hey, Paul, Jeff sent me here. Do you got any of them Cannibal Creators sitting around? Even a PC copy would be worth it. There are 3 other stories in here that I can't wait to read. So low dues to be in the FF group too. I'll send you guys my PayPal. I will donate $5 if producer Jill will go on cam with the cat. She just doesn't want that $5 enough. I think we have to have a bidding war. I had a hard time with Black House as well. It dragged for me and seemed to have a lot of filler. Felt like a story that could have been told in half the length. Yeah, I don't remember it that well, but I definitely want to reread it. I will be going to a signing of David Grant's next week. Oh, that's cool. The Costco near me is mainly, well, maybe you could sell a book to Ron, Jason. Go get his signature and then upcharge Ron. Very cool, Jason. I was hoping he'd hit my area, but I was hoping he'd hit my area. Don't say that out of context, Ron. I think you could get canceled for that nowadays. I was hoping he would hit my area. But I don't believe he is, for at least I haven't seen any notification. The Costco near me is mainly children's books now. I used to buy a bunch of books from them. They have not had one I wanted in about 2 years. Yeah, Martin, that is a good point. Like, it's usually my Stephen King trades I get from there, but other books are just not. They're all stacked on a table, and they're, like there's James Patterson book, I think last time. Just books I'm really not interested in. So I agree with that. It's not like a good bookseller, but if you have these blockbuster bestseller, it'll probably be there. But yeah, I agree. Good to see you, Martin. I'm glad you're here. I was talking earlier, I don't know if you were listening, about the product page on Cemetery Dance. And you pointed out to Dan that, hey, this isn't updating. It's reverted back to its bad ways. And so that was funny. I don't know. I just thought of you, Martin. Just thought of you. You brought it up. So I'm fired. Nah, I quit. I quit. So yes, we talked about Fracassi, and we talked about Centipede Press. So yeah, that's kind of crazy, right? All those books from Centipede Press. He's really trying. Sub Press is doing Across the Sorrow Sea by Anthony Ryan, and I say Anthony Ryan. Anybody want that? I don't know. I feel like I mentioned these things. I should tell you about them because they've come across my desk, my professional desk here. But I have no desire for it. But I thought I'd pass it along to you. Yeah, like I said, Sub Press is a great press. They do quality books. I really like them a lot. Just nothing that interests me lately. The King books are hitting the Costco about 2 weeks after release, so I do not bother. Oh, well, that's okay, Martin. It's okay. Thank you for being here at all. I appreciate you being here. Um, yeah, I guess, but do you need them right away? Like, I don't know. For me, the timing isn't like back in the day when I was a wee lad and a Stephen King book came out or a Metallica album came out. I would have to get those things the day they were released. I wanted it. It's not like I was worried about these bestsellers selling out and running out of inventory, but I just to show my support, send sales through the roof, go over there and buy my copy. Um, but as I got older, it's like, especially for a trade edition, you got to do that stuff with like the hot ticket items. But right now, as I was saying earlier, it's a buyer's market. If you're new to collecting, it's a lot less like Black Friday nowadays. There's a lot of stuff out there to pick up for real cheap. I'll be getting the Anthony Ryan novella. I have the first 4, but I haven't read any of them yet. That's funny. Yeah, it's like me with Grady Hendrix and Stephen Graham Jones, man. And even Paul Tremblay had a ton of his before I even read them. Subpress also leads a small press game in markups. Speaking truth to power since forever. Stephen Dwayne Nelson Jr. I only just read Tommyknockers. I'm way behind. Did you like it, Jimmy? Because I think that is a book that gets a lot of hate that doesn't deserve it. I loved Tommyknockers. It's a wild, crazy book. Subpress Lansdale Books is all I buy. Yeah, me too. I generally start King on day of release. That has been my habit for a long time. So you got a tradition. So that's fair. I mean, starting it on day of release. I used to do that too. It's nice you actually stick to things where I don't. But I used to get a charge out of that. Yeah, you get it the day of, and man, there's nothing like that. And so you cannot buy anything, Martin, from CD. You cannot buy trade editions in slipcases from Cemetery Dance because you won't get them day of release. You can't read them day of release, and then you may never get them for months, years. So that's fun. That's fun. I mean, I miss those days. You're making me nostalgic, Martin. I want to go back to that. Reading day of release, making it a moment. But there's so many books now, so many authors, and my schedule just doesn't always line up with King's. I'm somebody, I can't read 2 books at once. There's some people that do that. Like they'll read and they'll have like, I'm reading 3 books right now. It's like, okay. I mean, you divide your time like that. That's cool. But I guess they'd have to be 3 very different books for me to do that. It was pretty good. Love the start. Middle was slow, but ending was cool. Okay, that's fair. I think that's a good assessment. Ending was cool. The chapter that got me, Jimmy, was The Shed. That got me when I was 15 or however old I was when I read it. And man, it still hit hard, even though I knew it was coming. It's like In the Shed is the name of the chapter. Oh man, that knocked me out. There's something so brutal, so bad about that chapter, about the theme of that, or what's discovered in the shed. Damn. I think that's probably super dark for King, for me anyway. Because I'll tell you right now, the worst thing, the thing that gets me the most in any fiction is when a person is dehumanized. That dehumanization. It affects me more than anything else. I don't think I can really give an example. I mean, I guess if you're talking about like a cannibal turning a person into a meal, like they're dehumanized. Somebody like somebody being surgically altered to not like the Human Centipede, that movie. That is dehumanization. Oh man, that's the very um undiluted syrupy tar of horror for me. It's like that's the just oh, I just can't deal with that stuff. And I think that's what gets to me. That's what that chapter, that's the nerve it touches, which elevates the whole book in my opinion. When there's a moment that messes with you so bad that it stays over all these years, and you still affect, and like, because when I reread it, wasn't that long ago, it was a couple years ago, maybe even last year. um I was rereading it as a skeptic. Like, was it really that? Like, so you're kind of downplaying it, and since you've already read it, it's sort of like, well, it's not going to hit the same way as that first initial impression. But nope, it still got to me. So it could just be my thing. Um, you can buy the CD slipcase without buying the trade. Yeah, that's what I did for If It Bleeds. Generally, the only non-CD books I have bought from CD are Borderlands books. I will take them late over dealing with them. Yeah. I'm currently reading Jurassic Park with my nephew. I haven't read it since the year it was first released. I remembered it being better than this. Oh, so it didn't hold up. It's funny because you read so many things over the years, and they push that threshold. And then when you go back to something, it's like it doesn't fit anymore. Your brain's expanded, the work is the same, and it didn't whatever you learned from that, whatever it stretched in your imagination, that's already been done. And yeah, that's interesting. So it might not age the same. I've been reading a lot of Layman over the last few years. Yeah, I got Richard Layman. I got to read, thanks to my friend Jason here. Oh no, I'm thinking. I was thinking of Garten, Ray Garten. I felt sorry for the dog in Tommyknock. Yes, me too. What was your first King book, and what drove you to want to read King in the first place? I don't know if you're asking me or Jimmy, but my first King book was The Shining, and I got it because my mom said the book is always better than the movie. And here's the perfect example: this book is far better than the movie. She said that. It was a pretty radical notion. So she goes, here, read the book and then see the movie. And I was like 14. So I read the book, loved it, saw the movie, and I saw her point. I will say the movie, if it's its own thing, is brilliant. When you compare it to the story, it's not the same story. It's a different atmospheric, some ways much more experimental and less tied to the story and the characters, and more tied to a vibe. The Shining is a vibe. Very iconic, beautifully shot vibe. Whereas the story is much more immediate and human with the novel. So I saw her point, and I agree with it, and I still agree with it. Very few books, very few movies are better than the books they're based on. Who has the egotist? What site? Zagava. Yeah, Zagava. Um, so that's what got me started. And then right after I read The Shining, I read Pet Cemetery because that was new in paperback at the time. And then I read Thinner. Then I think I don't know what I read after that, but that was how it started. And then I started getting them in first edition hardcovers after that. Well, after it. So I read it when it was brand new. That was my first edition. Beat the hell out. I have pristine first editions over there. They're loved. They're well read. Sounds to me like your mama rants. No, she doesn't rant. That's the irony. Yeah, I'm much louder and angrier than anyone else in my family, probably. Maybe. Strangely, the Adventures of Tom Sawyer held up just fine. My nephew is not as much a fan. Mark Twain's brilliant. Sorry, brilliant. Mark Twain. I mean, I don't know if that's not a controversial opinion, but he's brilliant. Oh, I'm breaking up? Oh, I'm sorry. Bumping into stuff. Congo was my favorite of his. Did you enjoy the Shining TV version? I think 3-part series, although I haven't seen in a while. Yeah, I did. I thought it was a faithful adaptation of. You can't compare the TV series to Kubrick's masterpiece, right? There's just a chasm, a gulf of talent between the. I'm sorry. I'm not jarring anything. My hands are. I was in the middle of a talk. Okay. You want to be on? Producer Jill is going to be on in a second. Okay. If nobody can hear you, it sounds like it's being. Can everybody hear me? Audio is all messed up for me. I don't know. I mean, I'm not touching anything. It's like jiggle the thing where it's. I don't know if it's like. I don't know. You have to come on with the cat. They said. What? They said $5. Han says I will give $5 if you. $5. I know. I said $5 was enough. We're gonna have to start a bidding war. We're gonna bid. Okay. What do we got? Somebody has to. Everybody chip in. Still. Oh my God! Am I cutting out? Martin says audio is fine for me. Jason says everything is fine for me. Much better than last week. Every third word. Every third word is in and out. I don't know. If anybody else having an issue, just drop. Jason says he's having night. Try rebooting, no luck. That's your mom said that. Yeah. Well, I'm going to be wrapping it up in 3 minutes anyway. So, Hans also says huzzah to you. Oh, huzzah! She says huzzah back. I'm sorry. It's not a $5 huzzah. Yes. So, but I think the 3-part series was more accurate, but less beautiful. That's what I was going to say. All right, Night Shift. Oh, wait. Ron did say something about Night Shift. Jeff, did you hear you mention Night Shift? Have you read that early collection? I did. That was my introduction to King and really to mass market horror. A very special book to me. Yeah, I think that was maybe the next one I read after Thinner. I remember thinking maybe there are 2 different hands on the cover. Was cool. Thinner had that red hand, and of course, Night Shift had that hand with all the eyes. Okay. So who's going to donate money? $20, says Mark. Night Shift was the first King book I actually bought. That paperback cover with the eyeball hand was killer. Yeah. My sound is good, said Hans. No, all is good, says Ron. Other than it's still being you, everything is fine with your channel. See? Sherry, I paused the feed, then fast forward to live, and I fixed it. My sound is fine, but there was a weird glitch for a minute. I am a weird glitch. Huh. But producer Jill brought her thing over here, and it was like that Michael Myers skit where he goes to the drive-thru and he pretends like it's out. It's kind of what it was. Every third word. Okay. Well, I'm sorry for anybody who had audio difficulties. I'll give you a full refund. Jill says she is not going to appear for even $20. I think she's thinking like 4 digits. I don't know. So $9,999 is probably what it'll take. Maybe. Even then, I don't think you could put a price on that fear, that phobia. We'll see. So I'm going to head out. I'm going to cut it off. Not literally. This is my mother-in-law. Number one says, we're going to get cutting. And she initially started saying it as a threat to me. And now she just says it every time she's going to leave. I'm going to get cutting. If 10 of us each offer 5, that's 50. Yes. If 10 offer 5, this is turning into an OnlyFans. I don't think that's cool. And and I think we have to get seriously, you guys got to be thinking thousands, because she won't even let me show you her bookcases over there. Oh, I think she's coming back out. I think she threw something at the wall. I don't know. Jill with the cat in front of her bookshelves for $12,000. You know what? You send us a misery numbered edition and she'll do it. Send me a misery numbered edition. Make it number 23 and she will do it. She will stand over there with the cat for 1 whole minute. Number 23, misery numbered 23. She's not ashamed of her books. She just doesn't want to be on camera. Will producer Jill be in Nashville? I don't know. If you see a short person standing next to me with a hat, overcoat, sunglasses, and a fake beard, that might be her. I keep waiting for her to jump up behind me with or a blow dart. Go. Poof. Oh, I shot my son in the neck inadvertently. Here's a quarter. I just want to see the cat now. You want to see the cat? Hey, Milo. Milo just showed up. Milo, you want to be on camera? He's like, what? I would go off camera to try to catch him, but I doubt it'll work. Here, let's try. Oh, okay. My son's going to help out. All right. You want to see the cat? Here's Milo. He's a baby. He's a big fat boy. He doesn't like to be held. He's a big. We think he's an Egyptian Mao, and he's not declawed either. Huh? I think it's pretty definitive. Yeah, he just jumped off of me and just shaved some of my chest hairs. So I don't think Jill's going to be visible in Nashville. No, but you said she wouldn't let you show her bookcase. I had a friend recommend King to me. I started with The Shining, then The Stand, then Night Shift. Yeah. I think I read The Stand before the unabridged. Yeah, I did. I read The Stand before 91 or 90 when the unabridged one came out. And then I got that. So read them both. It's brilliant. I got to reread it. So I'm going to probably get going. Producer Jill's going to be very mad that I was trying to fundraise off of her appearance. Oh, God. That's nice. Why? You're what? What? You said that's why you asked if you're ashamed. I'm not ashamed of my books. Oh, wait. Who said you're ashamed of the books? No, she's not. No, that's why you wonder. Oh, no. I think Jill's bookcases are filled with nothing but Harlequin romances. It's actually every language edition of 50 Shades trilogy. Oh, that's all that's over there. And every language edition of the Twilight series. Just those. I mean, and seriously, that's all that's over there. That's it. She doesn't want anybody seeing those titles. Not at all. Harlequin romances. Jill, would you stand in front of the bookcase with Milo for $10,000? You'd have to appear for a full minute. Full minute. Just a proof of life. 10,000. Oh, she says, we'll talk. Bring me the money. That's what she said. Bring me the money and we'll talk. We'll talk about that when the cash is deposited in the right bank account. I lied in my unboxing of the Poe book. I did have a Poe book before. This is Cask of Amontillado from 19th edition. This one is signed by Paul Michael Caine. Right there. It's a lot of fun. And then, yes, I was going to do a show and tell and show you the Poe book, but I did an unboxing, so I don't know. Anyway, have a good week, everyone. Mark's going to go. The art? Oh, yes. Thank you. Yes, fan art. Well, not fan art, but art. Channel art. My broham did this. Look at that. It's diamond art. Look, oh, it glitters, Jill. I'm trying not to get like, oh, wait. If I angle it just so, I can get Jill in the reflection. So, yeah, this isn't really showing up, but it's really cool. It's like diamond art. Like you take little itty bitty little beads and put them according to the color on this grid. And it, it's like something you do when you have like 3 years of free time. No, he didn't do it. Didn't take him that long, but I love it. I think it's awesome, and it really came out amazing. And I was going to try to hang it up here some's house, but it kept falling, and I don't want it to break. So anyway, I love it, and I like it, and I'm glad Jill reminded me to show you guys because I meant to show everybody. So very cool, Jeff. Nice way to end things. As always, thanks for hosting. Yes, thank you for all being here. And if you guys got 10,000, talk amongst yourselves and we'll make the arrangements. And you guys got to sign the NDAs and all that stuff. But then we'll make this happen. So appreciate it. And until next time, just stay frosty.